Hi, this is Marc from LongIslandWatch.com. New year, new brand. First new brand of the year is going to be Ollech and Wajs. This is a Swiss brand, been around since the 50s. A little bit of a brief history. O&W, as you may want to call it, started out as people just selling wristwatches at a small counter. Joseph Ollech and Albert Wajs in the mid-50s. They quickly realized that they wanted to get into the manufacture of wristwatches, so they did launch a brand with their own namesakes. And that started in like the late 50s. And then they did, for a young brand, they certainly got a lot of stuff, and they did a lot of firsts. Like the first 1,000-meter water-resistant dive watch in the 60s, that was the Oceanograph, which still lives today in some form, and I will show it to you. They've traveled to the Arctic Circle. They were given to troops in Vietnam, British agents, all over the place. So the brand really got its start in the 50s, 60s, and it went all the way up until, kind of like the 70s, and then Quartz crisis kind of hit them, and they're actually still one of the few Swiss brands to never ever make a quartz watch. So they kind of went into, I guess, self-sustainment mode for a bunch of years. And then the brand was revived. This is almost like a Squale kind of story. The brand name was revived by the French distributor of the brand. So kind of like still keeping it all in the family. If it was Squale, the Van Buren family eventually gave the business over to the Maggi family, which is one of their biggest distributor in Europe. So it's kind of like the same thing going on here. So they're kind of just not reinventing the brand, they're kind of just shepherding the brand into the next few decades. We're gonna go over those watches, they're really neat. I'll do a really, really quick wrist check since I talked a lot. One wrist, Islander Rangemaster. Other wrist, Phoebus Eagle Ray collab, comes in two colors, limited edition, blue and purple. Onto the watches. So they do not make a ton of different SKUs, which makes it great for someone like me because I can basically go full line and not worry about it. I think I've got almost everything they offer online. There are a couple of things that are out of stock right now, but I'll get those models in as time goes on. They are not an inexpensive watch, so we're going to start at the base, which is this $1,200 model, and we'll work our way up. Close to $2,000 or so, but there's some that even go over like a chrono, which I'm not going to cover here. I'm just going to cover 3 of the watches just to show you what we're dealing with. What I do really, really dig about all the watches I didn't know beforehand is that most of them are sub 40, around there. So the sizes are perfect. So let's go into it. This is a P101. You can tell it's got a nice, man, what an awesome dual time bezel. The action on this, or the lack of action, if you will. It's so smooth and satisfying. Oh, it's amazing. So it's running on a ETA 2824-2 movement. It's been modified by Ollech and Wajs, rotor and stuff, but adjusted to 5 positions. What does that mean? Well, basically there's 6 positions a watch can be in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The watch has been adjusted to 6 of those positions, which is kind of normal. They generally don't go to the 6th position. Most brands don't, higher-end brands don't, because the 6th position is a position that you normally will not see, the watch will not see. What it's meant to do is kind of mimic movements of the watch throughout the day. So adjusting means that in all those different positions, they get the positional tolerance or the differentiation between rate in all those positions to be as close to 0 as possible. So it's great that they adjust the movement. It is a 39.5 millimeter case. It's 15.8 thick. We are going to a nice, almost like a top hat, but not really. It's a domed sapphire. I guess you may want to call it a box. It doesn't have the edge of a box that I would call. It is tapered a little bit, but beautiful crystal, raised up for sure. We're only looking at 49.5 on the lug tip to lug tip. Screw down case back with their signature propeller logo. 1956 is when they started, stainless steel, Swiss movement. This guy's water resistant to 300 meters. Let's see. Oh, I should mention, and I will show at the end, a lot of these, there is an optional bracelet. They make a beads of rice bracelet, and this is their beads of rice bracelet. It retails for around $200 extra. I don't want to unwrap it, but you can kind of get what it is. I do want to say it's like a Doxa beads of rice. The links here are individual beads. Beautiful. Size with screws. The clasp, I don't like that it's stamped back here. Leaves a little bit to be desired in that department. And there is no diver's extension on it, but it's a beautiful bracelet, and it's meant to, curve at the end and fit the case wonderfully. And again, this is the P101, and it's like I said, so everything in the current lineup is like it's almost like a reissue, reimagination, or a revival of their old stuff. This is hanging on to watches from the 60s and 70s. Interesting hands, right? Those squared off hands and then segmented on the minute hand gives it a little bit of a different appeal. We'll do the lume at the end like I always do, but beautiful looking, nice balanced date or symmetric date at the 6 o'clock position. Nice, nice. Let's go on to... let's see, let's do this one. I thought this one was really interesting. I only picked 3 out of the ones I got just because it kind of makes it easier for me. This is the M110. It's coming to you with another bi-directional compass bezel. You can use this in conjunction with the hour hand to find where north is in the northern hemisphere, and then south in the southern hemisphere. It all works. I did a video on that. I'll try to put a card up if I remember. It's one of my older watch and learn videos. What's really cool about this, besides the fact that it's got like this gray-green dial, let's wind it up. This is not running on an ETA. This is running on a movement that they collaborated with Soprod. It is a Newton P092 movement. So an excellent Swiss movement. You can see clearly it's 28,800 beats per hour. You're ticking along at 8 ticks per second. Really nice looking. I kind of dig that it's not your standard Swiss ETA movement, something a little bit different. This one's sporting a 39 millimeter case. It's 12.5 thick to that, again, that sapphire kind of top hattish crystal. We're looking at 45.7 on the lug tip to lug tip, solid screw down case back. There's inner AR on the crystal, if I didn't mention it. 20 millimeter strap on this guy as well as the one prior. I don't think I said it on the other one. 300 meters of water resistance. Is $1,655 on this nice heavy duty leather lined canvas strap. Really nice looking. So we're looking, as I said, almost like a field watch, right? You're looking at compass bezels, you get your cardinal directions. And then if you look from the 12, the 15, the 30, and the 9, you see those for 3 minutes, it's segmented green. Those are your radio silence times. You're supposed to be listening, see if there's any distress signals or anything like that. Screw down crown, they're all screw down crown. I guess we'll go over the operation on this one. So you unscrew it, even with gloves on, it's a dream. Pull it out 2 clicks, change the time. 1 will change the date. There it goes, I always do it the wrong way. Wind it, screw down and turn for your full 300 meters of water resistance. Check out the buckle, signed and dated. Let's go on to, the last one, the Ocean Graph. And this is kind of their retake on the one that they did in the 60s that was 1,000 meters water resistant. They actually test this watch to 1,200 meters. That's kind of insane. It's got a 5.6 millimeter thick crystal. We're looking at another ETA 2824 movement. Again, adjusted to 5 positions for accuracy. 39.5 millimeter case, what a great size. 15.8 thick, we do have that nice domed sapphire crystal, kind of helping us with that water resistance, right? If you dome it, it's, domed, dome shapes definitely hold a lot more pressure than flat shapes before they deflect too much. 49.5 millimeters on the lug tip to lug tip. Another solid screw down case back. This guy comes on a Perlon strap, 20 millimeters. Kind of surprising it's on such a lightweight strap for a kind of bulky watch, but you know what? It really works. The look works, the color works great. I'm sticking to it with my gloves, but it's really, really nice looking. 1,000 meters of water resistance, as I said. $1,875. As I mentioned in the open, there is a slightly more expensive watch. I feel over $2,000. That's the Navicron. It's a chronograph. I didn't want to bring that to the party, but come close up on it. This is another This is a unidirectional bezel, but this guy is a compression bezel. So you have 3 scales on the inside, much the way of, what was the other brand? Ocean Crawler did one like this. And it is giving you have 3 concentric rings, and it's basically telling you how deep you can dive with or without decompression stops and all the other stuff. Again, it's probably something that most people would not use, but it is kind of cool to see, and it's a nice holdover from the olden days. I love the use of blue with orange lume. It really looks nice. Let's do a lume shot, and then we'll do a nice wrist shot. On the left, we've got the P101, the middle, the M110, and on the right is the Ocean Graph. But that really cool orange lume, it really looks different. Really nice. Telling the time is really not a problem. So here I am wearing the, this is the M110 on the canvas strap. On the bracelets, man, these things are just absolute fire. My wrist is about 6.5, 6 3/4, so it is a perfect size. Again, I said in the beginning, I love that they're making 39 40mm watches, and they're not, you know, dainty 39 40mm watches. They're Swiss made, they're 300 meters of water resistant, 1,000 meters of water resistant, serious tool watches, but they're just not big, and you just don't need size. It's all about the function. So I think that's going to wrap it up for us. That has been Marc from LongIslandWatch.com showing you the new Ollech and Wajs brand from Zurich, Switzerland. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Questions, comments, anything else, leave it down below. I'll be sure to address it as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.